So it looks like somebody who really didn't like the now current president of the United States, Donald Trump, a prize winning cartoonist, has been recently arrested for doing some very bad things, or at least acquiring very bad things with kids in it, exploiting children. And I'm kind of, well, disgusted, and I imagine most people would be too. Let's take a quick look at this with a guest today, Loki from Loki's Mornings of Mischief. Loki, gave you a little preview of what we were going to talk about, but I really didn't get into it. So we're going to have this conversation kind of with you being less aware, which I think is good because I want your first blush reaction, and I know they do too. But before we dive into this, folks, do double check that you're still subscribed to the channel. And if you're not subscribed, please take advantage of my free subscription offer to my channel, which is going to be good forever. Just turn on the bell notification, get all the notifications turned on, and you won't miss anything between my at least once per day live stream or my many videos that I drop a day. You will always stay informed. So hit the like button preemptively, just like some pardons recently, and we will jump into this story. First and foremost, this is from our good friends over at BleedingFool. Abby Green wrote this story, and guess this Trump-hating Pulitzer-winning Pulitzer Prize-winning cartoonist. There we go. Was arrested for bad images, things,
on
or
his
maybe,
computer.
yeah, it's not great. Of course, this is a piece of the artwork here. Darrin Bell is the guy's name. According to Joel Berry, did this piece of art. And I don't know. It seems kind of strange. The Washington Post reported that this cartoon, Darrin Bell, who's drawn for their paper and has 2 daily comic strips to his credits, was arrested for possession of child exploitation content. I'm going to describe it that way to be very careful. Pulitzer-winning editorial cartoonist Darrin Bell was arrested Wednesday. This is a clip from or segment from this article at the WAPO in California on charges of possession of this exploitative material, some of which was allegedly generated by AI. That's grody. Bell, 49, was arrested at his home and booked into Sacramento County Jail after police discovered more than 100 videos related to exploitation activities with children, connected to an account that he owned and controlled. Loki, first blush reaction. And consider you're on my channel.
Do you remember the Ewoks in Return of the Jedi? Remember what they were going to do to Han and them? How they had them like on the roast?
Yeah.
Roasted up.
No, I look, I understand the sentiment of being very angry because this is very disgusting behavior, but this is a big problem because this seems to be happening more and more frequently. Right. And especially in some kind of in journalistic pursuits, we're finding people are involved in things that they deny are happening. And I'm not going to bring up a bunch of examples. I'm just going to say that the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office detectives from the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force received a tip from the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children, who do a ton of work trying to actually stop these types of activities. They guess that someone had uploaded 18 files containing that material, or CP, I will say. After an investigation into the tip, the detectives discovered 134 videos that material uploaded by an account owned and controlled by Bell, this cartoonist. So, police issued a residential search warrant on his home, where they discovered evidence that related to the case, including computer-generated AI exploitative material, according to the sheriff's office. So this was the first arrest by Sacramento Valley's Internet Crimes Against Kids Detectives Unit related to possession of AI-generated content since the new California law ordered possession of that to be deemed a critical offense. A criminal offense. Loki. I any other things to say? Add context to this?
Yeah, I'll throw you here something. One of the big things that's going on right now with AI is that every AI has to be what they call on rails. What does that mean? That means that your AI has a lane it has to stay in, and it is railed into that lane. It cannot go outside that lane. Well, people in the AI community, people that test these AIs, they stress test them, they get them to do all kinds of crazy stuff. This is not supposed to be possible, but one of the things they have found they can do is get an AI to go out of its rails. The only reason why I know this is because you can get it to sing you a song about like pyromaniacs and stuff. Is you trick it, so you can trick the AI. All of this has to come under a new division that prevents this kind of stuff that's happening, that gets updated and that gets contacted if someone's trying to do stuff like this. I understand you have your own private moments, but there are things that AI does not need to be doing. And one of the things it does not need to be doing is creating stuff like this for other people. Period. This is not okay. It is not acceptable. I don't care what side of the aisle they're on. I don't care what political thing they follow. This is wrong, and this is messed up on every level. They've got to get this under control, and they've got to teach these AIs not to go outside of their guardrails and do something that they've been programmed not to do.
Yeah, and I think that original purpose of doing something like that, trying to limit the scope that these AIs could perform in, I think that was ultimately a great idea. The problem is AI has now made it to everybody's laptop, computer, and now even phone. I don't think you're going to be able to guardrail it in anymore. In fact, I think some of that guardrailing included a lot of narrative support for a lot of radical causes by activists, but at the same time, it made perfect sense. The problem is the cookies are out of the cookie jar.
Yep.
Anybody can have their own AI. You can download load a large language model yourself, and you can put it in place using Olama. You do it with a powerful laptop or a decent sized desktop computer. You can do it on one of these new NVIDIA Nanos that are out there, and have it do your AI. It won't do as many tokens per moment, but it certainly can generate a story or an outline for you, and it can do something called RAG, which is go outside and seek additional information from the internet in real time, and then update the model. So there's a lot of things that you can do, that obviously isn't going to be within those confines. And the people that always find the ways to get around things are usually the people up to no good, unfortunately, or people like me who just like to see what's on the outside edges of things. Right? You have the hacker mentality, and then you have the criminal mentality when it comes to these types of things. But apparently, one of Bell's more notable works is Candorville, a daily comic strip that features young Black and Latino characters living in a city. Collections of the nationally syndicated comic strip have often offers social and political commentary and have been published into books. He co-created Rudy Park, a syndicated comic strip no longer in production that focused on current events. So this is the guy here on the left. This is his thoughts about Trump, obviously trying to tie him to things that he's not tied to.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and he said here, or somebody said here, it's staggering how you spent the past years calling Trump and his supporters uh, R word, G word that I still can't say on this platform, and Yahtzees. Meanwhile, you were just arrested for creating and distributing CP.
Isn't that something else? Isn't that something else?
Yeah.
That he spent all that time going after somebody and calling them all kinds of things, and then suddenly, well, he
It's
gets nabbed for that.
yeah. And look, I mean, they should cancel further publication of his daily strips. That's Avi Green's opinion, and nobody should buy reprints. I'm not saying he's wrong. Avi's wrong. I think Avi's right, but we must hope his publishers are dropping his work from reprints already. And now here's clues to his politics. So Bell got his start at the University of California, Berkeley.
That
If you know
explains a
anything
lot.
about that, yeah. He drew cartoons there for the Daily Californian. He became the first black journalist to win the Pulitzer Prize for editorial cartooning. Um, and his winning cartoons that year took on issues of 2019, took on issues affecting disenfranchised communities, calling out lies, hypocrisy, and fraud in the political turmoil surrounding the former Trump administration. That's according to the Pulitzer Prizes. In 2023, Bell created a visual memoir called The Talk, focused on um, how racial injustice and public movements in childhood had helped shape him. Well, okay. The book's publisher was Macmillan. They said in a statement Thursday, it is aware of the arrest of Darrin Bell. These are disturbing allegations, and we take this matter extremely seriously. Look, I don't often go into these kinds of things. I'm not I'm not a I'm not a huge fan of drama. I don't like to do fascinating articles like this, but honestly, in this case, I make an exception because Loki. I think it's important to point out this type of large scale hypocrisy and just how deep sometimes these criminal behaviors are rooted in people who are calling out others for similar things.
And you've gotta watch, because immediately you're gonna have people saying, "Oh, well, you can't just cancel and you can't do this." Look, as soon as he was arrested and the facts were known, there's going to be a trial, there's going to be evidence, there's going to be all this stuff. We've seen all kinds of shenanigans before where they've been like, "Oh, we've got text messages," when in reality they were recreated text messages that weren't the original messages. All kinds of crazy stuff you hear about. Everything in this guy's life needs to be put on hold right now. Everything hold, pause, finish, finito. If all of this is true, that's it. You have crossed the biggest line of lines. You have it
Yeah,
involves kids. Nobody likes that,
yeah.
and that's it. If it's like, no, it's not true, this and this, blah blah blah, and that comes out and he is not convicted, he is not, they're like, no, he's innocent, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
The guy needs to go back to his life and it needs to be explained. But if all of this is true and this guy did this, immediate wagon
Well, I'm just
to the
telling you.
chain gang.
Yeah, I look. I'm with you right there. These types of stories make me very angry. I've done a few of them on my channel before. I don't think I think you have to protect kids at all costs. I think that people should not challenge children's innocence until they are supposed to be grown up. I don't want anybody to have their innocence removed at a young age. I want them to enjoy it for all 18 years if they can of their beginning of life. But oftentimes, even in schools, teachers are robbing them of that innocence. We've seen a string of issues between teachers and students and other stuff like that, and the collection of these materials, they're actually trying to get these types of people protection now, right? And that's a real issue. So we're going to have to see which way things go in the future, but we have to really start recognizing that even the people who try to point out other issues in society could be possibly creating them elsewhere. And that's exactly what happened in this case. Loki, any final words?
I hope justice is served. I hope that if all of this is true, he gets what's coming to him, and if it's not, we find out in the day of court. We can't just say, "Hey, we want evidence and we want to see the proof and we want to see the trial," and then say, "Oh, well, we're going to condemn this person over here just because they don't agree with the political choices that I make."
Right.
No, it needs to be. We need facts, not my
Yeah.
truth, not my fiction,
Right.
not any of that. We need facts, we need evidence,
Yeah.
and that's what they need to show us. And as soon as that's there, boom, it is done. We know
Well,
what he's accused of, we know what evidence they say we have. They just need to go through with it and charge the guy and get this over with.
as for me, Loki, I just want to see the hypocrisy end. But I ask you, what do you want to see? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments section below. Are you trying to be as fair minded as possible despite what we've discovered here in this story? Are you thinking that the wheels of justice will actually turn and find truly what's going on here? Or do you think that there are elements, even in the well established legal system, that are likely to give this a pass or forgive something in some way? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. And I'm sorry for this heavy subject, but I've probably got a more fun one coming up right. Well, it's probably right up there. Or you could also check in the things that are popping up the screen in just a moment. As always, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya for real.